Welcome back to the Nihilist Media Podcast. This is Bonding with Bond. I'm Mark.
I'm Nicholas.
And today we watched the greatest Bond film of the 60s.
It was pretty good.
On Her Majesty's Secret Service. The one and only outing for Mr. George Lazenby as 007. I loved it.
Way to open that on mic. He couldn't open his drink right before. He had to wait till mid-recording.
Yeah.
You know what I did? I opened it before.
Good for you. We have a new gun barrel, obviously, because you have George Lazenby, and his gun barrel is the best gun barrel so far.
Yeah, he does do a little spin move into a kneel.
Yeah.
Almost like a little figure skater.
Mm-hmm. The opening is more complicated than usual. But not in a bad "you only live twice" way, but in a cool "On Her Majesty's Secret Service" way. It starts off with Q showing M a new gadget, which is what was
Pocket
it?
lint.
Pocket lint.
Yeah, that's like radioactive.
Yeah. And then M's like, I don't care. I just want to know where 007 is, like, so badly. And then Moneypenny's just like, I don't know where he is. Madrid doesn't know where he is. I've contacted all these different places. They have no trace of him. And then we cut to our man. He's driving around, and we do the Dr. No thing. We're keeping him a mystery. You know what I'm saying? You know, you see his cleft chin.
It is very cleft.
Yeah. Man's got a straight butthole on his fucking chin. And he's just driving around, and this girl's trying to get around him. He lets her go. I love the shot of him opening up the cigarettes and then putting it in his mouth, and like the light, the way that they did the lighting, where it really illuminates his mouth. And we never see him for a while. And when he follows her to the beach, she pulls over. She goes into the water. She's going into the water to kill herself.
Yeah, she's walking out.
And Bond immediately goes out there to save her. And it's really great because he's looking on like a sniper rifle thing.
Yeah, he has a kit for the sniper rifle in his glove box, and then he just takes his scope out.
Yeah, and keeping him a mystery. And he gets out there, he saves her. And when he lays her down, we finally reveal who he is. And he goes, "My name is Bond, James Bond." And we meet our new Bond, George Lazenby.
And I liked him. I was a little worried starting out because I was like, "Uh-oh, new guy." But quickly grew on me. Well,
let's go for it. Let's start it out. Let's just go for it.
Yeah.
Opening topic: Lazenby versus Connery.
Oh, versus so obviously Connery, you have so much more time with, and especially knowing you only get one single movie with George is kind of a little sad because I think he killed it.
Yeah.
He did there were some points where I was like, oh, I don't know if he's going to be able to do this, but even like the super emotional scenes, like he shows there's a spooky scene where he's scared towards the end of the movie, and he plays it off really genuinely. Like I feel like he's like, oh, I'm out of outs.
Yeah.
I just ran away skiing down a mountain.
Q did not give me anything for this.
I am not on mission currently. I am doing this. I don't want to say rogue, but kinda.
No, he is. No, he's on mission.
Well, he gets removed from it. But then, I guess he's on a mission at that point. And then goes off mission again.
Yeah.
It's back and forth. It's almost like his job has some gray areas.
Yeah. I loved George. I think controversial opinion. I have a hot take for you. So I think Connery's like the best, right? It's like it's always either him or Brosnan for me.
Or Craig. Continue, Mark.
I think if George stayed for the duration that they wanted him to stay, because if he stayed, Peter Hunt would have stayed.
Yeah.
I think George Lazenby would have been the greatest James Bond of all time.
Yeah. I think, especially, so we record this after just finishing it. Obviously, first watching it from my side. And the ending, I was kind of like, oh, that was like all right. I was like, it kind of seemed a little weird at the end. And Mark was like, that was supposed to be the beginning of his next movie, but he chickened out and decided not to be James Bond anymore. I was like, oh yeah, that would have been way better.
Yeah. And it really sucks that that's like the case, because I genuinely, because like if this is his first time acting,
and it's so good, especially knowing that even just like first time being in the character of Bond, I can't imagine
what he would have done.
Yeah, how he would have grown into it, because like Connery grew into it a lot.
Yeah.
Like he didn't. I mean, he started strong, but he ended better than he started.
I don't think he ended better than he started.
Oh well, I haven't seen his ending.
I think even like with You Only Live Twice, I think Connery's peak performance as Bond is in Thunderball.
Yeah. Either that. I like Goldfinger a lot too, with him in it.
Yeah, I also like Dr. No.
Yeah, I like. Yeah,
and From Russia with Love.
Yeah,
it's pretty good what he does.
Yeah, he did do a good job. Well, I've heard things about the next one, so
yeah.
What year was this movie?
This movie, 1969.
Okay.
It's the end of the 60s.
That makes sense.
And Peter Hunt directed it.
Yes.
My boy from who edited Dr. No to Thunderball and was second unit director on You Only Live Twice.
And always killed it with the editing.
Yep.
And turns out to kill it directing also.
Yeah, I think you agree. This is the directed film.
There were times where I was like, oh, that looks good. There are some transitions in this movie. There's one in particular towards the beginning where
with the hotel.
Yeah, they're looking at a hotel pool and it slowly fades into like the reflection of a casino, and it looks like it's probably one of my favorite transitions.
Yeah,
like period, not just in a Bond movie. And then there's one later too that's really good. I think it could have been a little better, but it's still so creative and like pulls you more into the story, more into Bond. Which,
yeah, I adore the direction of this film. I think the cinematography is the best the series has ever been. Also, like the beginning, so like after he saves Tracy, he says, "My name's Bond, James Bond." He then like a bunch of goons come up with they have a knife to Tracy, throw the gun to his back. They start a beach fight sequence, which is, in my opinion, fantastic because it's
I thought it was all right.
I think it's the most brutal fight we've had in the series since the train and From Russia with Love.
Yeah, From Russia with Love.
Like it feels like the most realistic, and I think it's a perfect way to show that, like, hey, this ain't Connery. This is like this guy's a fucking brute.
He even says it.
Yeah, and then Tracy steals Bond's car, drives up the hill, and then gets in her own car and drives away. And Bond grabs her shoes. You know, he's like, "This never happened to the other fella." Looks in the camera, breaks the fourth wall. Fantastic. We have our opening credits, and we see all the old Bond clips to continue continuity, even though we just broke continuity.
Yeah, that's because I do like. We were talking about because it starts and it shows a picture of Honey Rider, and I was like, "Whoa, what is happening?"
Yeah.
And Mark was like, "Hey, they're gonna show clips from everything." It's like the end of the '60s. It's the end of the first decade of Bond, and I was like, "But he like kind of just made a joke about being different, and now they're gonna play an homage to."
But I think that's what like, I mean, I didn't think about it until you just said it. But I think that makes more sense the way you just described it, because it's like him sending off the past, and it's like now it's the present, and it's just like it's like we're gonna have a celebration of the past until we have like this movie that is very, very different.
Because it's so good.
Yeah.
Like I liked it.
I think it was Steven Soderbergh. I don't know if you know who he is. He directed Ocean's 11. He directed
good movie.
Sex, Lies, and Videotape.
I've seen Ocean's 11. I loved that. I haven't seen. Not that I know of. Have I seen anything else by him?
Yeah, he's directed a few things, but he once said, he directed Logan Lucky. I think.
Dude, I love Logan Lucky. Yeah, you know why?
Daniel Craig.
Fuck you. I went, Daniel Craig's in it. I'll watch it. I like that guy. That's what I do with Adam Driver now.
Yeah.
Hey.
He's in that.
Yeah. And Channing
Tatum.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I remember actors' names.
Steven Soderbergh said about this movie, he said, it's the only James Bond movie that's a real movie.
Oh, yeah. I could totally see that. And especially with the ending, too. It completes an entire
arc.
Like, yeah.
Like, this
especially a huge character arc.
Yeah, he's not ending it on a raft.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't end in a sex scene.
Yeah, he doesn't fuck Domino in the sky. This is a man who's distraught.
Yeah.
Now, do you wish Connery was in this, though?
I don't know, because I feel like...
Because Connery is a better actor,
like
in general.
I don't know. I'll have to think about it more. Because I think he did a good job. I'm trying to think of places where he would have done better in my mind specifically.
Yeah. I feel like the emotional scenes, because Connery is like a theater Shakespearean actor and whatnot, and like he is an Academy Award winning actor.
Yeah. Unlike
Lazenby, who, like, he's known for this, and then he did movies where he was trying to recapture this.
Yeah. I know you think he would be good for... There's, like I mentioned before, the scene where he's out of outs. He's on his own trying to survive as long as he can, and he's evaded basically everything they've thrown at him, but you can see he's drained and losing hope that he'll be able to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to picture him, Sean Connery, doing it.
I think he could do it.
Yeah.
I've seen him be vulnerable in things, so...
Yeah.
But I think here's my thing with it is I either wish Connery did this, or I wish George Lazenby continued on.
Yeah.
It's just very frustrating that this is the one.
Yeah, I totally see that. It's the ending of the movie when you were like, yeah, this is supposed to be the start of the next one. I was like, man, what could have been?
Yeah.
That would have been sick.
Because that would have been the greatest opening.
Dude, a Bond girl would have lived the entire movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, she always lives the entire movie, but she appears in the next movie.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. I think that, yeah. So, like, anyway, back to the actual film. Bond goes and gets a hotel, and he ends up going to a card game, and what happened? She's there. Tracy's there.
What do you know?
Teresa. But she says Teresa was a saint. I'm Tracy.
Yeah.
And they start playing, what is it, is it Baccarat?
All I can think of is Bagman for some reason.
Is it Baccarat?
Yeah, Baccarat.
Yeah, they play Baccarat, and she ends up losing, and then she looks at the guy. She's like, I don't actually have any money.
Yeah, the guy he specifically says, I think he says, I'm going to bet bank.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, yeah, no. Nobody at the table wants to. There's like this moment of silence, and then she's like, I'll do it. And then she loses, and she goes, I have no money.
And then Bond pays for it.
Yeah.
And then he follows her to a table, and he's just like, hey, blah, 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 I want to have sex with you. And she's just like, she gives him the key to her apartment, her hotel room. He's like, I hope it'll be worth it, yada, yada, yada. He says, send the Dom Perignon and some caviar to this room, please.
Yeah.
He goes to that room, and there's a man in there.
Yeah, shocking.
There's
a thug.
There's a thug, and they have a really, really good fucking fight scene.
So I think this is one of the better fight scenes all up. Like, I think, like, you really liked the beach fight scene. I think this is even
I think this
above
one's better.
That. Yeah. This is one of my... This, and then I have to wait for it to come back. But the next fight scene...
When it's the two henchmen, and they're going to Draco's office?
Yes. Oh, no, it's a three. There's
three guys?
It's three guys and him, and it's so quick and dirty, and then it ends with Bond on the other side of a door with a throwing knife, like pointed right at.
And they do like a big dolly in.
It's so good, and just talking about the camera work, this movie's so good.
Yeah, I know.
There's so many good shots.
Real movie.
In it. Yeah.
I think this is like a real movie. I don't think we get another one until, like, I mean, you can make the argument like The Living Daylights in 1987, but I feel like even then, I'd probably say GoldenEye 95.
Yeah, it's so good.
And then that's the last one we get until Casino Royale in 06, and then we don't get another one until Skyfall.
Yeah. I mean, that's not the biggest guy. Oh, there's in the second fight scene where it's the thug in her room. There's a great opener where Bond just punches a dude in the face like 4 times, and he just quarrels him. He's like, I don't feel pain.
Yeah, but there's a great moment where he like gets his arm like locked, and he's like going to break it, and like they really show the struggle and the pain on Bond's face. He's like, I'm gonna break this fucking guy's fucking arm.
And that's one of in a lot of these fight scenes, they hold on it, and it's not just jump cut, jump cut, jump cut, jump cut, like, which I was worried about because I felt like the beach fight, it had too many cuts for me to be like, this is a heavy, impactful fight. But man, the rest of the fights are so good.
Yeah. And I liked, Nick was always likes his nonverbal Bond quips.
Yes.
And he's just like, but he says, crash the party. Have you clean that up.
And I went, that one's all right.
But then he stops at the table and he grabs some caviar.
Yep.
And just slowly puts it on there. Takes a bite. It's good. And he just starts talking to himself.
Yeah, he starts talking about like he's like, oh, North Caspian Sea.
Yeah.
It's like just reading the back of the container, but just talking to himself.
When
he also
goes,
has just a little wardrobe call out. He has, do you know what those are? Are they like tuffled shirts?
Ruffled shirts, yeah.
It looks silly. I don't like them. But
I don't either.
He works it. But.
I think that they were just trying to make him as different from Connery as humanly possible.
Yeah. And it's starting to get to the 70s, so.
Yeah.
But, man, I was not a huge fan of it.
I mean, I'm definitely confident by 1973, like if George Lazenby was still Bond would be wearing bell bottoms and have a mustache.
Oh yeah, imagine that.
Right?
They went Easy Rider killed. Wear Easy Rider now.
And then Teresa is actually in Bond's apartment,
yes.
and she's got a gun on him, and he's just like, oh, why don't we put that away? And she's just like, what if I killed you for a throw? And he's like, I didn't think of something better to do. And he grabs her by the wrist and bends it back.
Mm-hmm.
And
gets
she's
the
just
gun
like,
out.
He's like, who's that man in your apartment? She's like, you're hurting me. And he's like, I can do a lot worse. He slaps her right across the face.
Yep.
And so now it brings our favorite segment. Was Bond justified hitting that woman?
I think this one's a borderline. I think he was fine disarming her, but he does give her a good old whack. But at this point, he doesn't know her at all, and she pulled his gun on him, and she's in his room.
And there was a man in her apartment.
Yeah, and the thug was there.
Yeah.
Which she would have known. So she easily could have been somebody more dangerous than somebody he falls in love with.
I agree we're on a borderline, but I'm going to side with them on it, this one.
See, I'm like right at the borderline. Like I can see arguments both ways.
Yeah. On this
Later
one, so like when here's my thing. Connery on the train of from Russia with Love, I'm like, okay, Bond, yeah, you're fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
But this one, I'm just like slight nod.
Yeah. You're getting
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because the disarm stuff's fine.
Yeah.
And then.
But I also like the dialogue they have here, where he's like, I can do more persuasive, and she's like, I'm sure you could, but for all the things that I am, I'm not a liar.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Tracy's character because she's like a woman who's like who welcomes death.
Yeah. Like she doesn't care anymore.
Yeah.
And it shows a lot throughout the movie too.
Mm-hmm.
Especially there's a really great dialogue scene where her dad brings them like together at a bullfight.
Yeah.
And she's like, can you just give him what he wants and like I can fuck off and not be a part of this? And I thought it was really well done.
Yeah. And she also I like that arc because basically Tracy's arc is to find like the meaning of life or like whatever happiness in her own life and the will to live, and she finds it and it's beautiful, and then it gets ripped from us, and it's also beautiful.
Yeah, I like because they both have their own arcs, and it's super cool.
Yeah, and then she pulls a Bond on Bond. She bangs him and then leaves and leaves money, and takes his gun. Well, she doesn't take his gun. Somebody else takes his gun, and then when he gets up the next morning, he's like, "Oh, get breakfast, and for me in this room, and like that room checked out like a while ago." He's like, "Oh, really?" And he looks in his drawer. Instead of having a gun, it's 2,000 pounds. And he goes downstairs, and someone's like, "Hey, you left this, Mr. Bond, blah blah blah," and they bring him to
20,000.
It's 20,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know he at least paid 10,000 for her bet.
Oh, okay.
So I wonder if it was that in the gun or something.
Jesus Christ, how much is that in fucking 1960s money?
A lot.
That's a lot of fucking money.
And a little tangent. I just love European poker chips.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, the aesthetics of this film are the best aesthetic we've seen in the series.
In the great sets.
Yeah.
I really like comparing the two secret layers. I like how insane the last one was in the volcano, but this one is more grounded in reality. And this one makes more sense in this story.
Yeah.
Like, I think this one's perfect.
I actually prefer this one.
I feel like they don't use it enough. Like the laboratory section of it.
Yeah, but I think that I like the whole the clinic in itself.
Yeah,
which we'll talk to. We'll talk when we get there. But like we have like this great moment where Bond is being hostage, but he's like kind of just like chilling.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we get to this construction site, we go in. And there's a great bit that George Lazenby does, and they're like leading him to the thing that they have to go through like a door, and Lazenby immediately throws the door back to hit the other two guys.
Yeah.
And then he starts fighting them, and he kicks all three of their ass.
Yeah,
and it's fantastic.
So yeah.
And then he gets in the room. Like Nick said earlier, he has the throwing knife, and he sits there, and he's like, "Mr. Bond, don't kill me yet. Not until we had our drink first." And Bond throws the throwing knife onto the 14th. He's like, "But Mr. Bond, it's the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
I'm superstitious."
Yeah, 13's a bad number.
Yeah. We're then told that that's Draco, who's Tracy's dad.
Mm-hmm. And he happens to be the leader of the second largest crime group in Europe. Second only to Spectre, which has since dissolved. So it's
not dissolved, but it's not like they don't have a volcano layer anymore.
That's the perfect way to put it.
Yeah,
and I love that because as the story progresses, it almost ends up being the two biggest crime organizations fighting each other
while there's a love story happening in between.
Yeah,
it's perfect. Yeah.
It's so good, and it's so because it's still a Bond movie. It still revolves around Bond, but in the background, instead of having this just like, oh, the good guys versus the bad guys, it's like, oh, I'm rooting for a bad guys group, but they're fighting the bad guys. Film
nerd thing that I love. There's a part where Draco he sees that the knife is thrown at the thing, and it's out of focus. The calendar,
yeah.
and then Draco puts his glasses on. That's when we rack focus, and he takes them out. We rack focus back. It's just like,
I didn't notice at all that it was him putting his glasses on.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna rewind it because we're watching it again.
Yeah, the second the knife, I was gonna say dagger, hits the thing behind him, I was like, please rack focus, please. And it holds on the shot for a while. And then, that's so good.
Right? Like, look at that.
Yeah.
And then, ready? Takes it off. Boom, rack focus back. It's perfect. It's beautiful.
Because I didn't notice that he puts glasses on. I thought it was just going with him turning around.
No.
And I was like, ooh, this is beautiful. Oh, that makes it so good.
You're like, why can't they all be like this?
I can't believe it's somehow better than what I thought it was.
Yeah.
And I loved it already.
That's the thing about this one. I feel like when you watch all the Bond movies, I feel like a lot of them lose like their
like
thing,
individual charm,
their charm with every viewing. If you don't, but I feel like On Her Majesty's Service gets better with every time you see it.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah,
like this one, we're like, next time you watch Doctor No, you're just gonna see a lot of the flaws.
Yeah.
You're gonna start seeing more of like the issues with it. You're like, why did that happen?
That is a lot of rear focus.
Yeah,
rear projection.
Well, this day for night really is that ass.
Yeah.
To the point, and then this one is just like, oh wait, this is genius. Oh wait, this is actually this is some real filmmaking. This is like some auteur shit.
Yeah, even later. So I hate Day for Night, and it's blatant in a lot of these movies. They almost attempt to make it look like nighttime, and there's a lot of Day for Night towards the end of this, but I'm okay with it because it was like dangerous stunts they were shooting, and then immediately once that crazy action stops, it's literally shot at night, and then it's only Day for Night when it's like, okay, this probably would have been 100 times more dangerous to actually shoot it at night. Mm-hmm. So I give it a pass.
That's character growth right there. That is some character
Hopefully
development.
This is the last time I have to talk about it.
No.
Yeah. I figured.
Do you want to tell everyone Draco's plan and why Draco has brought Bond to this room?
So his daughter is a wild stallion and does not like her dad and tends to do this disappearing thing. And I suppose it's like she hasn't found herself and everything. And he's like, she needs a man.
Yeah.
Bond, I want you to be that man.
And Bond's like, I actually think she needs a therapist. And
Yeah,
he's like, I'll give you £1 million if you fuck my daughter.
And he's like, well, we already did. And he's like, I already know what you did.
Yeah. He's like, don't need to hear about it.
Yeah.
But
still my daughter.
Like, if you could just like, dominate her and like make her like have like a work ethic.
Yeah.
I'll give you £1 million.
It's pretty like thinking about it just from the crime versus Secret Service thing. It's so funny that he's meeting with like the equivalent of Blofeld for this other org, and they're just they're just like shooting the shit, talking about his daughter.
Yeah.
He's like, in Bond's like kind of want for talking to him is he might know a connection to Blofeld.
Well, yeah, he even says that. He's like, no amount of money is going to be... You have connections.
Yeah.
Can you find where Ernst Stravo Blofeld is? And he's like, oh, Blofeld. Yeah. And he's like,
Yes.
That's the deal.
Yeah.
I make your daughter... I give your daughter a will to live. You give me Blofeld. And he's like, absolutely, blah, blah, blah. And then they go on their first date at a bull fighting thing for Draco's birthday. They meet, and immediately Tracy's like, this is bullshit. This is dumb. Why is Bond here?
Yeah.
This guy's a fucking loser. I fucking hate him. And he's just like, Tracy, I brought him here. And she's just like, you've always taught me. And this is what I love about Tracy, is that she's like dominating, and she's like, she's like independent. She's like, Papa, you've always told me that a guest should not withhold things from like their host. Like a good host ever holds from their guest, yada yada yada. And he's just like, Tracy, what are you talking about? And he's just like, and he blames his wife first.
Yeah.
Dubbed by the Honey Rider voice again.
Yeah. Mark immediately heard it.
Yeah.
I was like, who's dubbed in this? And he was like, I think it's a couple people later. And then he was like, oh, that's Honey Rider right there, actually.
Yeah. I was like, oh, there she is, getting that paycheck. But
and no credit, but paycheck at least.
She got credited this time.
Oh, did she? Awesome.
Yeah, because remember you pointed it out when we were watching the opening credits. Like,
that's
dubbing.
Yeah, I saw a dubbing engineer.
Yeah. So they agree to do that. Oh wait, no, before that happens, we go to MI6.
Yeah.
But before that, we'll go back and we'll circle around and talk about that.
Yeah.
But like, anyway, we'll finish this scene. He blames it on his wife, and he's like, don't blame her. I know you better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Tell Mr. Bond what he wants, or you'll never see me again. And there's a good beat, there's a good silence. He's like, okay. Blofeld might be
fine.
Blofeld's connected to this lawyer in London. And he's just like, really? Okay. And then she's like, well, now that Mr. Bond has what he wants, he has no further use for me. And then Lazenby
runs away.
Immediately chases her, and he's just like, I always thought that like forgiveness should be shared between friends and lovers. And then
he wipes her tears away, because then he makes like a weird like heart shape on her face, almost wiping it away.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's kind of weird. And then he does it again later, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But we go to MI6. He does the hat throw. It's sick.
It's a good one.
And we proceed to have the best Moneypenny scenes in the entire series.
Yeah, this even later on in the movie when she comes back, it's still top-notch Moneypenny.
Yeah. He even offers her to come back to his apartment. He's just like, she's just like, if I could only control myself, like, say more Moneypenny, England's last line of defense.
Yeah, and then he plants one on her.
No, not yet.
Oh, really?
That's later.
Wow.
Remember, you're forgetting. There's a couple beats here. He goes into M, and M's just like, Bond, you're a fuck up. I hate you.
Yeah, you're off the case.
Yeah, you're off the case. You had 2 years. You had 2 years since you only lived twice, and you couldn't even find this fucking guy.
Yeah.
How can you not find a guy with a scar on his face? You son of a bitch.
Yeah. Why aren't you looking for his earlobes?
Yeah, you've been looking for him since 1962. You son of a bitch. You haven't come. You came close last time. You let him get away on his little fucking globe. On his monorail.
The monorail.
Yeah. And he's just like, I but it's my case. It's all. which I love Bernard Lee in this. Like they gave him so much to work with.
He has a ton. This
is the most we've seen of like them.
Oh yeah, because he's in it a couple more times.
Yeah. We then get out of there, and Moneypenny takes a memo for Bond because Bond's pissed. He's like, I want effective Amelia. I want my resignation from Honor Majesty's Secret Service. And she's just like, oh my god. And he just leaves.
Yeah.
And he goes back to his office, which Nick nerded out about because in the books.
Yeah, they finally shows up in the books. It's like a big deal. He has his own secretary, and like it talks more about the times between cases where we like in the movies when they do the before the title thing where they kind of show a side mission type thing, which is beautiful. In the books, it talks a lot about the paperwork he does in his office and the little nuanced stuff of, hey, this isn't always a glamorous mission. Like sometimes it's just like redacting information from files.
Yeah, we also have like a little thing where he's like reminiscing about things where he picks up Honey Rider's knife. He has Grant's watch, and he has like the breathing apparatus from Thunderball, and then he starts drinking because he's an alcoholic.
But what is playing in the background?
Underneath the mango tree, my honey and me. And then it goes into the commercial love theme, and then it goes into the Thunderball theme.
I didn't notice that at all. I was so blown away by
hearing the original James Bond theme.
Yeah. Yeah. We could just say the theme.
Yeah. He gets a call from Moneypenny, and then he's like, hey, he wants to see you again. And then immediately, he doesn't even look at him. Request granted. And then Bond's like taken aback, like, after all I've fucking done for this asshole, not even fucking... He doesn't even care that I just resigned.
Yeah.
And then Moneypenny is like, oh, well, why don't you read it? Blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, 2 weeks. Yeah. He's like, well, you didn't really want to leave. And he goes like, what would I do without you, Moneypenny? And he kisses her right on the lips and leaves. And then she's like sitting there like, oh my God, he actually did it. And then on the radio, you just like, you hear him, oh, Miss Moneypenny, what would I do without you?
And he kisses her through the phone.
Yeah. And that's where we have the bull fighting thing.
And now we're back on track.
Yeah, we're back on track. And
I can't believe we forgot this.
Yeah. And so 100%, this is the best MI6 we've ever had. I think the best M will ever...
Well, it's not the best Q, but there's a good Q later.
Yeah, so far I think the best Q is Thunderball.
Yeah, I also think Thunderball.
So, but I think but I do agree with you on the later Q scene. I think is one of the best. But I think this is the best one of the best M sequences, and definitely 100% the best Moneypenny. I think there's even another great M scene later, or two really good ones later.
Yeah,
like the one when he's doing like the butterflies and stuff.
Yeah, so that we'll just
Do you want to talk about it now?
Yeah, I'll just jump to it now because that's kind of like a throwaway scene.
Well, that's how he gets put back on the case.
Oh, okay. Oh, because he says like I found this letter. No, we're gonna
hold off.
Yeah, we'll go in order. So the next part's super cool.
It's the montage of them falling in love.
Okay, never mind. This part's not super cool. The part after that's super cool.
Which
the
I
love montage is good, but it's like,
Yeah.
it's kind of just a love montage. There's like trees and horses and stuff. You know,
Yeah, but we also have that
stuff.
great Louis Armstrong song.
Yeah, which was interesting that they had. I was kind of expecting, because we didn't really talk about the title much, but the theme for this is super good, and there's no vocals.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I wonder if this is going to be like a no song type movie. And then we
have two, and that one is now like, it's even in the end of No Time to Die.
Mm.
Because it's now known as the tragedy song.
Yeah.
Which I don't like that they used that in No Time to Die, but we'll get to that eventually.
Yeah, we'll get to that in 19 weeks.
Yeah.
Because this is 6.
Yeah.
Almost there. 5 months.
Yeah. It's fine. But I mean, Too Long Didn't Read for why I don't like it is because I feel like that's Tracy's theme. And they're just like, instead of like having it be Tracy's theme, they're just co-opting it of being like, remember when sad things would happen in these movies?
Yeah.
It's just like, that's not how themes work.
Yeah.
That'd be like if I showed Blofeld and I just put the James Bond theme on immediately. It's like, that's not his theme.
No, that makes sense because they're brothers.
Oh, fuck off. Fuck off.
So after the love montage, that's when he goes to the lawyer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we get a really cool scene where...
Describe that one.
Yeah, Bond gets out of his car where he was riding with his girlfriend and her dad, which seems a little awkward. But...
And they look smitten.
Yep, and Dad's in the middle, which I thought was an interesting choice. But so it's lunchtime, and this office building is clearing out so everybody can go to lunch, and Bond's going in, heads up to the lawyer's room where he subtly passes the lawyer, and I didn't actually even catch it the first time, but he pickpockets the keys to his office off of him, and then doesn't really have to break in because he's got the key to the thing. Goes in, and our ally for this one did I don't even know if he gets named, the blonde guy. We'll call him Bad Felix. Bad Felix is dressed up as a construction worker and has a crane lift a suitcase up to Bond, who is probably like third or fourth floor of this office building, and gives it to him so he can not only break the lock to the little safe, it's probably a medium safe, it's just full of documents for the lawyer, and photocopy them, which I don't know how you feel about this, but later on, Bond has a camera that he's using to quickly take pictures of the map with the girls that are the agents. We'll get to that. That's the whole thing. He could have just used that camera after the safe was open to take pictures of the documents instead of making a photocopy of it.
I mean, yeah, but because he has it in the physical form,
yeah,
he
makes it more impactful for him.
He could also just go straight to M without having to get it like developed.
Yeah, but it's like,
so like
he would have avoided a lot.
He could literally leave right now with the paper and go to M's office rather than having to go make a stop at CVS.
No, not a digital camera. Yeah,
yeah. It's not like he's gonna be like, yo, check this shit on my phone. You know, he's got to go get shit. That shit needs to get developed.
Check out this TikTok, bro.
Yeah.
Em, you're gonna love this. Why are you in my house, Bond? But he cracks a safe, gets a document.
Read some Playboy.
He does read Playboy. He also steals the centerfold. It's not his Playboy. It's the lawyer's, and he stole the prize jewel of it. And what's Blofeld's fake name? We'll call him Blowenfield is his cover name.
I don't remember. I think it's Bloschimpf or something.
Yeah, it's something weird. But basically, Blofeld is pretending to be somebody else. He's had...
And he's trying to get a title of Count in this like family, but they think he's full of shit.
Yeah, he's trying to lie his way to be like the highest person in this family, tracing back the lineage.
Yeah.
So that he can be a count.
Yeah, he's like, I don't have the earlobe, so...
Yeah, look, I'm different.
So it means
and
something.
It's great because we have a different actor who's playing Blofeld in this. I think he's better. And he obviously looks different. And it just so happened that Blofeld got plastic surgery to try to blend in to be Blowenfeld's count. So it kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that actually worked out pretty well.
Yeah. And while this is happening, there's a great scene in the car where Tracy's talking to her dad, and he's just like, is there anything I can do for you? He's like, what could you want other than being in love? And he's like, Mr. Bond feels the same way. And she's like, that may come in time.
Yeah.
But
not
regardless
yet.
of what happens, I don't regret a thing.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's a good movie. It's well written and paced properly
and well directed, and
the direction's so good.
Yeah, and they also try building up tension that the guy's gonna get into the office before Bond gets everything.
Yeah,
and they do it perfectly. And there's also that great moment where Bond takes the case and throws it just right in the thing, and then just dips.
It's super well done. It's suspenseful. It's actual espionage again in a Bond movie. This has a pretty great balance of action with slow and steady spy work and literal disguises and that aren't, they're like tastefully done. It's not like Face Off. The Cage.
Oh, I thought he was referring to literally what they did in the last movie.
Oh, yeah, that's... Oh, I already blocked that out. I forgot. Yeah. Man, that was bad. I don't even
I thought
count
the last
that
movie was Thunderball.
Yeah. God, I literally totally forgot about that terrible plastic surgery nonsense.
Yeah. So, like...
I shouldn't say plastic surgery. The makeup and, like, wax on his eyes.
Yeah. We know what he did.
Yeah.
We know what he did, okay? We don't need to fucking
forgiven.
dwell on it.
Ugh.
Then Bond, I believe, goes to see M.
Yes, and we get a really cool M scene where Bond shows up at M's actual house, and M is pinning insects. So he's taking insects and drying them out. In this case, it's like butterflies, so that their wings are spread. And we get a deeper look into M's character. It pans around, and you see all these mounted insects behind his desk. And
Bond also is an expert on it, of course. And M's just like, oh, why do you do this?
Yeah, as he has to be.
And then he's like, you're up that Blofeld case. Like, yeah, but like I have his location, and here's a way we can get him.
Yeah,
without having to be crazy about it.
And so you're back on the case.
Yeah, and they give him. He says, "I'm gonna go to this like House of Arms like thing, and they're gonna. I'm gonna pretend to be this guy, so Hillary Grave, and because Blofeld was trying to get his title, and this is how he gets it. So like, I'm gonna go to Hillary Grave and be like, hey, what's my lineage? Yada yada yada. And they say it's the Bonds. The world's not enough is your motto,
which is so cool.
Mm-hmm. And then he's like. The blow shelves or whatever the fuck are
blowing fields.
The blowing fields don't have earlobes. Their place is here. You should try to get them to go to this place in Augsburg, I think it was.
Yeah, I think so.
And you have to pretend to be me, and then Bond immediately puts on an accent that's exactly like him, and he's just like, yeah, I can be gay. It's fine.
Oh no,
I can do that.
And then he puts glasses and a ring on, and boom.
Yeah, and now he's to Hillary Grave.
Oh, and a kilt.
Yeah, and
he goes all out.
Yeah, he goes all out. It's really cool because it's like Bond is gonna try.
Yeah,
it's not. As much as I love Thunderball, him being like, there's a specter around you. What? The specter of defeat.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like I didn't mind that. And then like it's kind of weird that he was like, I'm going to go up to Blofeld and be in this disguise of glasses and a ring with my accent and a kilt. And boom, he won't recognize me, even though is this 2 years ago I was face to face with him.
Yeah, that's always a flaw that people have with this movie.
Yeah.
Is that Blofeld doesn't recognize Bond immediately, but I think he does.
Yeah, I have no problem. I think the problem's on Bond's side of why would you do this?
Yeah.
Not on the side of like I think Blofeld was like, yo, why is James Bond in the clinic? Why is he in a kilt?
Yeah. Like, yeah, I think that like a lot of people theorize that this takes place before You Only Live Twice. I don't buy that. I think that's stupid.
Yeah, that's stupid.
I think
why would that?
It's because the books are like that, and so they're like, well, they made You Only Live Twice before they could make this, but then it's like they decided to make this as close to the book as humanly possible, so they just didn't account for it.
The Office.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. Well, and then I'd be like, oh, maybe new Bond. They're like, oh, we can start fresh, but then they like pay homage to it right at the beginning. They're like, look.
I would have been pissed if this was a first film though.
Yeah, especially where he doesn't come back, and then they're like, okay, another first one.
Yeah, well,
that's it. Like
Connery's back.
Yeah, like so. Do you like Casino Royale being a like first?
No.
Okay.
I think it should have been a prequel.
Okay.
Like it is a prequel, but I think it should have been a prequel where it was just like, cause I think it would have been cool to recontextualize the series where it's like Bond's first mission, and you have the idea of like
everything else that's come.
Yeah, it's also like the idea that Vesper Lynd was the first girl that he fell in love with, and that's why he like treats women as like with like contempt a lot in like, the later films. And then it recontextualizes this one of why Tracy's even more important, where it like thawed him out, and it even makes sense because like the rest of the series from this point out, he's actually a lot more kinder and gentler.
Yeah.
So I think it would have like recontextualized the series into making it like make a lot more sense, but it doesn't. Because because
it starts a new...
And the reason they did it was just because they can have Judi Dench continue playing M, which I'm like, just have her away for one and then bring her back in the next.
Yeah.
Like, because even like it wouldn't even have done anything. Because like the reason why I don't like the Craig movies, I know we're supposed to talk about this movie, but like, the reason why I don't like the Craig movies is because it starts off Bond's first mission, and it's like Bond's second mission, and then all of a sudden. You're an old man, James, and it's just like, what happened? Like, we got
that's a good point.
That's,
I feel you.
That's my complaint. It feels like, well, if we just would have done Bond's first mission, Bond's second mission, and then brought back Judi Dench, old man Bond, that would have made more sense, and it would have been easier to buy. But instead, it's just like.
Yeah, they could even had somebody else do.
Yeah, I hate when series do that. It's like Batman Begins and then Dark Knight, and then all of a sudden you're coming out of retirement, Batman. It's just like he was Batman for like what 2 weeks.
Yeah,
he fought 2 people, and that was it. That was his whole shtick.
Nah, I feel I now understand more of your Craig hate.
Yeah.
But now we're
in
the mountains,
and he's still really grave. He's being very flamboyant, a nerd. He's pretending he gets flight sick.
Yep.
He's being the biggest bitch. We're all setting up a lot of stuff. We're setting up the landscapes for skiing, avalanches. And we're talking, and we're setting up how secretive like the clinic is, and how people aren't allowed up there. Yada yada yada, and. He's really playing off the whole Sahili Grave thing, and I've seen people be like, "Oh, Connery could never have done this because, like, and that's why George Lazenby sucks as Bond because, like, he's pretending he's so scared of being in a airplane, blah blah blah." I'm like, "All right, a helicopter," and it's like, no, he's not.
Yeah,
Sahili Grave is. He's actually being a spy.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I can see people not liking it, but. Some of the reasons you said are just so dumb.
You can see people not liking Lazenby?
Yeah, like it's doesn't fit everybody.
Yeah.
I'm sure people who don't give a shit about the cinematography, this doesn't even matter to them.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you got married.
But I think this also has like more of a spectacle than the other ones do. Like other than like Thunderball.
Yeah, it does have 2 big old climaxes because it's got the ski trip, and then it's got the
both ski trips.
The Flight of the Valkyrie.
Yeah, I think this one has more. I think this one has like in closest to tone is From Russia with Love.
Yeah, From Russia with Love. I was like, oh, there's more movie.
Yeah,
like, yay! It's like, they just killed the chess guy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she's getting sent on a mission. It's like, this is incredible.
Yeah. Speaking of that, we have a henchwoman this time,
yes.
Irma Bunt, and she's great. Unfortunately, she died before the movie could come out, so that's
really
sad. Yeah.
Oh, that is really sad because she did a really great job.
She was great. I think she's one of the best henchmen people we've had so far.
Stereotyping to tough women henchmen people, I think she was better than the woman in From Russia with Love.
Rosa?
Yeah.
I think Rosa had a better
character.
Yeah.
Rosa's character is better, but I think this lady's acting.
Yeah. I think Rosa Club has like a lot going on with like the lesbian angle and then like the shoe ending part. And I think she's got a lot more going for her. But like Irma Bunt is great. And I think that like the intention was to develop her in another film.
Yeah, because
That never happened.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't remember her dying, but she's the one who does the last thing in the movie, and then she's just gone. Oh my god!
What's up there, fucking Phil?
I know this really just needed a second one. That's so sad.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm devastated.
Yeah.
Man, what could have been?
I feel like if it was either Connery in this, because then if Connery did this, it probably would have made $1 bajillion, and then Peter Hunt would have came back again, and then they would have done the wrap up, and then Connery could have left as he does.
Yeah.
So
randomly.
So then we would have had the whole thing. I think the Connery era Bond thing would be the greatest film franchise ever. Or if Lazenby would have just stayed on for
even just 2 or 3.
Yeah, but they wanted to sign him. So if he would have signed the contract, he would have been Bond.
It was 8, right?
I think so. I think so he would have been there till 85.
Yeah. That's way too many. So we were talking earlier about why he said nah, and I think it totally makes sense why they thought Bond wasn't going to stick around, and then eventually does not stick around for a while.
Yeah, they do a thing. So all right, yeah, we'll talk about that. Oh no, we'll save that for the end.
Okay,
save that for the end.
A little tease
when we talk about Lazenby as Bond.
Yeah, we'll see you in 3 hours conversation.
Yeah. So he goes there. They introduce this idea where there's no handles on any of the doors. It's like very very.
And it's not even there's no handles. It's locked from the outside. Like you can not even open it from the inside.
Yeah, you have to click a button to make sure so that you can ask to leave.
Yeah.
While this is happening, Bond does the thing that we love the best. He's looking around the fucking building, being like, "Where's the bugs, baby?"
Yeah, but he doesn't find any.
Yeah, because there's no need.
Yeah, because Blofeld's got an intercom system. Oh, sorry. Blowenfield has an intercom system throughout the entire...
Yeah, it's also like, Bond can't leave. What you gonna fucking do?
Yeah. Little does he know.
Yeah.
Bond can leave.
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
Then Bond goes out and he meets all these young girls. A room full of babes.
Yeah, there's probably 20 babes in this room.
Mm-hmm. And we find out that they all had allergies. And they're all being cured of them.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's why they're in this. It's a clinic that is studying allergies and how to
eradicate them.
Yeah, how to get rid of allergies, and they are the test subjects.
Yeah, and we also have like a bunch of them like flirting with Bond because it's the first time they see a man. He's also wearing a kilt.
Yes,
and the
and
Austin
is a
Powers
gay
ruffle.
man.
Yeah, he's gay. And they're all like, "Oh my god, it's the first man we've seen in a while that's not Irma Bunt."
Rude. And he has a fanny pack on.
He does have a fanny pack on.
Well, I'm sure it's that might be rude, but it's like the Scottish fanny pack for when you have a kilt on.
Yeah,
little satchel.
Yeah, it's a satchel. But and they're all discussing things, and basically Irma Bunt is testing Bond. He's letting all these girls ask him questions, being like, "Oh, well, yeah, tell us more about that, Bond." And then he just does it, like a true Chad.
Yeah, you won't catch me.
Yeah, and then Bond's like, "Well, I have a book that says I have a really large cock.
Yeah.
If you guys want to see that." And she's like, the main girl is just like, what's her name?
I don't even remember.
Short-haired girl.
It's the girl who is allergic to chickens.
Yeah. Her.
Yeah, we'll call her Chicken Girl.
Chicken Girl is
she's wonderful. She did a really good job.
Oh yeah. She basically like, I would love to see that. And she's like I'm in room, and she's like no rooms.
I'll pass the book around to everybody.
It's
Everyone
only fair.
look at it.
If I can see it, you cannot see it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, all right.
And then
she grabs Bond's, like, pulls up his kilt and writes 8 on his leg.
Yeah, his inner thigh.
Mm-hmm.
And I was ready for it to just be scribbles, because I thought she was writing something, and I was like, there's zero chance she's writing any words at this angle with lipstick. I was like, this is going to be awful. But
And
it was just an
then-
8, so.
And then Irma Bunn's like, is something the matter, Sir Hillary?
You look stiff.
You know,
Is
he's
that-
like, this is like a slight stiffness.
Yeah. Because then later on, she's like, "Are you feeling better?" And he's like, "I'm getting stiff again," or something. I forget what he said. There's a lot of boner jokes in this little area.
Yeah. And I love this. I love this whole thing.
Yeah, and talk about set design too. They call it the Alpine Room, I believe.
Yeah.
And it has the like perimeter of it is rotating, and they have these dining room tables spin into the room while they're just chilling on the sofas in the middle of the room, and it's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Then he goes and meets Blofeld, and they play this game of cat and mouse. And Blofeld is clearly like, I know this man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing is like I said, like if people keep complaining about it, like it doesn't make sense. Like Telly Savalas plays it like he knows this man.
Yeah.
He has seen this man in a volcano before.
Yeah. And he hasn't seen a lot of people in volcanoes.
Yeah, he's like, I know this man, and I'm gonna play along with it because like he's like so annoyed with Bond. The moment he sits down, he's like, "You fucking idiot! Like,
Yeah.
you're so stupid.
I can't believe you're
Like,
in my office right now.
Why are you like this?
Why can't you just blow my bass up?"
It's like it's literally like that. He's literally like, "Why are you like this?" And we
It's wonderful.
and basically he's like Bond ends up saying a bunch of shit that's like wrong.
Yeah. He's basically Blowenfield is trying to prove that he is Count Blowenfield when actually he's Blofeld, and he's like, "Hey, we have to trace all these documents. We have to go to the crypts in the city where your family is from and verify like stories with people there." And Bond flubs and says I think the wrong crypt name, and that's like one of the things that proves to Blofeld that it's not who he says he is. That and he looks exactly like Bond also.
Yeah. After that, Bond is in his room.
Yes.
And he decides, okay, well, if I can't get any information out of Blofeld, and I can't get any information about Bloom, I guess I have to go to my backup plan, which is fuck.
Yeah.
So he gets out of his room. He almost dies.
Yes, he does electrocute himself.
And then he comes up with this thing, putting an eraser and a clip,
a paperclip on it.
while he has
hold
like
it.
the metal part of a ruler.
Yeah.
Opens the door and goes to room 8 and fucks the shit out of the chicken girl.
Sounds terrible.
Once he's there, though,
Yeah. Groovy lights come on.
funny thing though is that she's like, oh, I want to see the picture. She's like, but you're a picture in this lighting, blah blah blah.
Oh yeah, you look so good in the light from the fireplace.
Yeah, and she's like, you're so stupid, pretending you don't like girls.
Yeah. He's like, normally, what is it? Normally
I don't, but you're a
so
special
unique.
occasion.
Yeah. And then he whips his dong out, and she goes, "Oh my God, it's true," or something.
Yeah.
In reference to earlier when he was talking about his crest, saying
He's got a huge cock.
well endowed.
Yeah. And there's a bit where after they fuck, they're laying in bed, and she starts talking about how the chicken thing, how she was allergic to chicken, she lives on a chicken farm.
Mm-hmm.
That's shit luck. But
Yeah.
but
the lights change over.
Yeah.
And there's an intercom recording
of Blofeld, and he's got that beautiful voice.
Yeah, whispering sweet nothings.
And he's just like, rest.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna be going back to your chicken farm, blah blah blah.
Okay, you won't be scared of chickens.
And then she's like in a trance, and he's
Yeah.
like, well, this is fucked up. I'm gonna leave.
Yeah, he goes, "Oh, what?" She starts. It's also said that it is part of the treatment. Like, she is used to this. Isn't some random thing that's happening. It probably happens every night to her as part of the treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like,
even smoke comes out.
yeah, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm a bounce. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go back to my room."
Yeah, and then he goes into his own room, looks himself in the mirror, and, you know, he's just like, "Oh, Hilly, your old dog."
Yeah.
And then as soon as that happens, there's another girl in his room. He's like, "Oh, hello."
yeah.
And she's like, "I came to see the pictures."
And it was funny because he walked down the hallway and I went, I am a hound for continuity stuff. And I was like, he doesn't have the book. And because he brought the book to Chicken Girl's room and he didn't bring it back. And he's like looking everywhere. He's like, where did I put that book? I was like, darn, I thought I caught a continuity error, but it was actually just well written.
Yeah. It was almost like it was directed by a man who edits.
Yeah. And then he repeats basically the same conversation about, oh, I thought you were gay. And he's like, no, you're unique. Normally I only like men, but you're just so perfect. You look so good in the firelight.
Yeah. Well, he said that that like she was like, I want to see the picture. She's like, yeah, but you're a picture yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
You're like beautiful in this fireplace light. She's like, Sir Hillary didn't like girls. She's like, I usually don't, but you're special.
It's the best.
And then he fucks shit out of her.
It's not love.
Yeah. The next day they go and they play curling.
Yes.
And he acts like a Dumbo.
Yeah, he falls.
And his partner tries getting up there.
Yes.
And
this I totally didn't even mention this at all. The bad guy version of Felix is also with Bond, kind of being his number two and following him around. They get detached when Bond is flown with the helicopter to the clinic. And the whole time he's just chilling in what's permitted for the public to be at. And he's like, whatever. He's like, I'm going to try to go up there. So he tries to go to the gondola, which says private. And the guys are like, get out of here. And he's like, there's a restaurant up there and I want to go. And they're like, get out of here now. And they kick him out and lock the door. And then he decides to climb the mountain they're on. And that's when he gets caught and shot at.
And Blofeld's like, there's been signs everywhere, and like my people are very, very courteous with you. Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
And at this point, Blofeld's got a point. And there is signs everywhere, and they were pretty nice to the guy.
Yeah. And then he's like, all right, we're going to send you on the gondola back down. And I was like, oh, wow, this is actually kind of nice of him.
But they kill him.
Yeah, but then he goes, Bond, I knew it was you.
Like, you're so fucking stupid.
You're so dumb. And then he goes, oh, look, your teammate's out there. And they made it look like it was a rock climbing accident. And he froze to death outside, which is brutal. And I loved it.
Mm-hmm. Another thing I love is that while he's up there, while Bond is up there pretending he sucks at curling, which he's probably like a fucking pro at, the chicken girl is like, I need to see you, I'm leaving tonight. He's like, all right, 8:00. And then another girl is just like, I need to see you. He's
it's
like,
the girl from that was in his room when he
Yeah.
came back from Chicken Girl.
I was like, oh, all right, 9:00. And then this Asian girl who was there like walks by and was like, 10.
10? Yeah, it's wonderful.
And then he looks at this guy, one of the henchmen who are there, and he's just like, I gotta get to work. You have no idea how much is piling up.
I didn't catch that when he said it. That's a great one.
Yeah, it's a good Bondism.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a good one. So then Blofeld is gone, hey, I know who you are. You're
That's
Bond.
not what happens yet. You're forgetting. He goes to the chicken girl's room, and he's just like,
oh yes,
I had to see you because, and then all of a sudden he like grabs her, and then it's fucking Irma Boots like, fancy meeting you.
Yeah.
They knock him the fuck out.
Yeah, and it's so well delivered too. It cuts great to his face.
Yeah,
It's
right there.
Yeah, it's so good. And so then he wakes up and Blofeld's like, you stupid.
Yeah, like why? I like how he's like, Merry Christmas, 007. He's like, I'm Sir Hillary Graves. He's like, no, you're not.
Yeah, no, I know who you are.
He's like,
nice final attempt.
He said it takes a lot more than glasses and a couple of rings to make 007 into a house of arms lord or whatever. And then he's like, it takes more than cutting off your earlobes to make you a Count Blofeld.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah.
I got rid of the scar too.
Yeah, he's like, you didn't notice. I put a lot of time and effort into that.
I'm handsome.
Yeah.
And they decide to cool Bond down by.
Well, they have a lot more dialogue there.
Oh yeah, he explains his plan.
He explains. Yeah, he explains most of it.
Yeah, I don't know why I was gonna.
Because you want to go to the action.
Yeah. Well, I was in my head. I was like, I don't know why I wasn't thinking about that till he's back after the avalanche.
No.
I was like, and then he explains to Emmett. But you want to go through it?
Yeah. So basically, he's like, I have like there was like this foot and mouth disease a couple years ago. Remember that? And but he's like, yeah, it was pretty bad. And he was just like, yeah, well, imagine that, but like worse
times a million.
He's like, I've created this idea where it's just like I'm gonna destroy all living life. Nothing can reproduce ever again with this disease. And Bond's just like, so you're gonna wipe out the entire world? And he's just like, yeah, if they don't give me what I want. And he's just like, how are you gonna do it? He's like, I'm not gonna fucking tell you.
He goes, I learned.
Yeah. He's like, this isn't my first fucking rodeo, Bond. We've been doing this since 1962. Okay. It's called growth.
Yeah, everybody grew in this movie.
Yeah. One thing I want to point out about Telly Savalas' performance as Blofeld that I like is he smokes cigarettes in a very specific, weird way.
Yeah.
And I love it.
It's very weird. It's almost like he's trying to snorkel with it.
Yeah.
He like smokes it. He holds it between his thumb and his first finger, like up.
Mm-hmm. And then he goes like,
yeah.
It's really cool.
It's very
sinister.
Yeah, and it's like unique. I like it.
Yeah. This scene's incredible, and I think that
so good.
I'm going to say it. I think the scene between Blofeld and Bond blows the "you only live twice" moment away.
Which one?
Like the Bond Blofeld meeting for the first time.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is so much better than I mean, the first turn when you're like, oh, I am seeing the face of
Blofeld.
Yeah, a guy who's been the bad guy for like 4 movies now.
But I think that Telly Savalas has a better. He is the face I imagined. Like when I feel like, so let's like imagine you didn't see You Only Live Twice.
This is what I imagined.
Yeah,
this is more when because obviously like the scar is like a caricature, like that's just over the top. But this is more what I pictured, just like bald dude who, like, he's perfect. I think this is perfect casting for what was in my mental image of who Blofeld was.
Yeah. And I wish we could have had another film with Telly Savalas as Blofeld, but we do not, which makes me want to die. Anyway, after he's like, Bond, you'll be useful to me because you can tell the government people that like I mean what I say and I'll do what I claim. Mm-hmm. And he does always pointing the cigarette at Bond, and it's like so sinister. And I was just like, dude, this guy kicks fucking Bond's ass.
Yeah, it's like you're like, oh, he might win.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And then they bring him to like what is it? The
gondola gearbox area.
Yeah, but before they go they put him in there. Bond starts fighting with the henchmen, and Blofeld doesn't fucking flinch.
Yeah, he just stands there.
He just stands there and watches
really
them.
Close.
Yeah,
too.
It doesn't even. Yeah, because he knows that Bond's not gonna fucking beat him.
Yeah,
and it's like he's so full of confidence. Like that's Blofeld. He's not like, come with me, Mr. Bond. You know, like, goodbye. I'm gonna get on my monorail. He also this is when he reveals that he killed his friend.
Yes, and that I already spoiled.
Yeah, it's the big reveal that he killed his friend, which
instead of putting him back down to the public.
I think it would have been cool if this was Felix, since this is how Felix died.
Yeah,
but we
Felix
got 4 more Felix movies before we can kill him off.
Yeah. And then he's in the gearbox, and he
is there for a while.
Yes, and he kind of tries to time out how long he has between the gondolas moving, so he can kind of shimmy his way out.
Yeah,
because the cable's drawn inward, so if he's on it trying to shimmy outward, every time it goes, it's going to pull him back in. And he's 3 or 4 attempts before he gets his timing right.
Yeah,
and then he
almost like he's a spy.
Almost. Yeah, it's weird. He's not like instantly this genius or superhero. He didn't just jump up and fly out.
Yeah.
And
I feel like that only happened in the last one, though, in all fairness.
Yeah, I mean, so far. Doesn't it get absurd?
Oh, yeah. I feel like we're starting to shit on Connery too much.
No. I think Connery was great. Most of it was grounded. Yeah. Jetpack, not so much, but Jetpack was cool.
Yeah, but then later on in the film, he had those moments where it was like tense. All right, actually, I actually have an argument to talk about the Connery could do this movie thing.
Okay.
So you're saying he couldn't do the scene where he's out of options?
Yeah.
He does it in Thunderball.
Which part?
Mardi Gras.
Oh, he does, yeah.
and it was awesome.
No, yeah, he did it. I mean, I feel like I see more emotion in George's face than Sean's face when he's hiding in the float. Like,
But how about before the float? Because when he gets in the float, that's his out.
oh, okay. You
But
mean
before
like
that,
in
he's
the
like
car and stuff,
he's like when he's panicked and
I'll
stuff.
have to look at that again because that's like the perfect comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to compare them because I personally was like, oh, I don't know how well he would do with that specific scene where it's just like, oh, I am no longer a top dog.
Yeah.
This is all gone wrong.
Yeah.
I don't even have a goddamn gadget.
Yeah. And then we also get while this is all happening, we get footage of like Blofeld explaining to the girls that he's giving them presents.
Yes.
And what's going to happen is that they're going to release chemicals at a certain point in time.
Yeah.
At a very specific thing. Like you basically put this on at 12 o'clock every night, and I will tell you what to do.
Yeah, they have perfume atomizers that have the chemical in it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, do not use this. And
Don't even touch it.
Yeah, they're being brainwashed, so it's not like they're like, oh, I'm going to touch it. It's he's like, do not use this until I tell you to. This is your radio. You listen to this every night. If I tell you to use it, you use it. If not, just keep doing your life. And it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And Bond gets out.
Yep, he shimmies across the gondola like cabling.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get a kind of intense moment where the gondola is coming at him and he's holding on to the cabling.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cut his hands off. He jumps just in time to get on it.
Yeah. Bond also finds out that he was there when Blofeld gives the speech.
Yes, the tail end of it. He sees them opening the packages.
Yeah.
And what Blofeld withheld from him before when he's like, I'm not going to tell you my plan again. That didn't work last time.
Yeah.
Bond still gets to hear the plan.
Yeah. Bond ends up beating the shit out of a guard and then steals some
the front
skis.
doors guy.
As the girls are leaving, he gets on some skis and dips. But they immediately try shooting at him.
Yep. They use a spotlight on him and it looks sick.
Yeah. We then have an incredible ski sequence.
Yes, and the ski sequence is what I was talking about when I was, because you've heard me complain about Day for Night a million times. They do Day for Night in the intense skiing scenes because I'm sure it was dangerous enough high speed skiing through, like, I am not a skier, but I would assume this is pretty rough terrain because it looks pretty rough going through the forest scenes. I imagine they were like, yeah, we're not doing that at night because somebody's going to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fine with all of that. It's a wonderful scene, and there's some pretty brutal fighting, too. Did you want to talk about the...
Yeah. So, like, at one point, the coolest part of this, first off, is that at one point Bond loses a ski because they shoot a ski off.
Yes.
And then he's skiing with one fucking leg.
Yeah, and the stunt double is literally skiing with one ski, too. Like, it looks insane.
Mm-hmm. The only time we use any rear projection is just to show close-ups of George Lazenby.
Yeah, and that's... Even there's... It's probably more medium shots, but, like, when you can still see their face and everything. They even don't have rear projection for that. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
But then those close-ups, they, like, have to, and... Every time I'm like yanked out of it. I'm like, come on. Like, it looks so good with everything except rear projection. Because earlier in the movie, too, there's I think it's earlier in the movie, there's a chase scene, or maybe she's just driving fast or something. And I was like, she waves at a passing car or something. And I was like, what are you waving at the rear projection? And there wasn't a rear projection. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, they're just filming her driving. This is incredible. It's like they've come so far.
The 60s are over.
It's like, oh my God, they've learned techniques.
Yeah, and then they're going to throw all those techniques out in the next movie.
I can't wait.
Because they're going back to Goldfinger, baby.
Yeah, but so there's the one ski part, but then there's also the kills that you were really pumped about.
Yeah, so there's a part where like Bond, like the ski guy's coming down, Bond takes his ski off, and he just whacks the guy, and the guy falls off the mountain.
Yeah,
and then he does it again.
It's a long fall.
And then he hits another guy right in the throat, and then but then there's like Blofeld and other people coming after him, and Bond to make the guy wasn't dead, so he just like puts the ski on the guy's throat and holds it down, just like stares.
So he can't yell for help. He's just gargling.
Yeah, so he just stares at them like looking around for Bond, and it's like very Connery, like Bond that we
very
like.
Suspenseful.
Yeah. And once that happens, Bond makes his way to a town, and then they're still tracking him, and they fight in a bell room.
Yeah, they fight in possibly the loudest scene I've seen in anything. It's like a room where they store all of the different bells.
Yeah, I like it.
It's awesome, but man, I was like, I cannot imagine recording that.
Yeah.
Like I've, in the past for Nihilist, I do a lot of the audio work, and I really like sounds. I don't know how to word this the right way. But I cannot imagine trying to record a fight scene where it's literally like people are slamming together wind chimes.
I mean, what probably happened was they recorded all like the bumping, but they didn't.
Yeah.
They took all the bells out. And then they probably added bells sound
in
effects
some
later.
of them you can see they're probably like cardboard bells or something crazy. But man, I just imagine us trying to do that and me dying.
Bond then grabs a jacket and starts trying to mingle into the crowd, but he's like being chased, and he knows that if they find him, he's fucked.
Yeah, and this is the scene we're talking about with the like no hope. Like, oh man, I have kind of used all my Joker cards with the ski trip.
Yeah,
like I'm running out of options here, and in the midst of his panic, he sits down and just goes, "Okay.
I just hope they don't fucking see me.
I'm just going to stare at people's feet and hope they just walk by." And then someone skates right up to him.
And who is it, Nick?
Who is it, Mark?
Who is it, Nick?
I can't remember her name.
Tracy.
Tracy, yeah, there we go. That's right. If you didn't catch it, I was like, when she's driving. Yeah.
You fucking idiot.
Dude, I can't remember names. I'm so blessed that this guy's name is George, the actor. It's like, oh, thank God.
Oh my God. So our main character, him.
Yeah. Him.
You forget Bond's name.
Yeah. Bond is staring. He sees her feet come right up to him.
It's Tracy.
I can say her now. We know it's Tracy. Tracy's feet come right up. And he looks up and he's like, "Oh, you got a car?"
Yeah, and it's also like a really nice scene. Like the orchestration is great. The cinematography is fantastic, and like I don't know, she looks like an angel, like his guardian angel.
Oh yeah, it looks so good.
It's like it's beautiful, and then they get in a car chase, which is great. Actually, no, they don't. They don't. He gets in her car and they go to the post office because he wants to tell London that like, hey, some fucked up shit's going on. Spectre's back, baby.
Yeah, Spectre back, baby.
But then they start immediately shooting at him. He jumps, and then there's a great thing where he's just running up to her car, and
as she's driving.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. She's so pretty too. It just did the pan up to her face.
Yeah, Diana Rigg's performance as Tracy
it's killer. She's
probably the best performance in the film.
The new standard for Bond girls.
Mm-hmm. And
which I don't know if anything's gonna pass. This is she's so good.
Oh no.
Yeah. Good.
There's some that come close, but never reach the links of Tracy, as much as Daniel Craig tried to do that.
Yeah.
With every girl. Then, I mean, unless we count M as a Bond girl in Skyfall, then I guess. But
that's a good point.
I think our thing should be: did Bond fuck them? Then they're a Bond girl.
Well, we with Ryan, we made like the sub tiers that kind of worked.
Yeah.
M will just be a specific one for the Craig movies.
Oh, M.
Judy did it.
Yeah, Judy Dench was great. She always kills it. But anyway,
we get to the car chase.
The car chase you take it. The car chase is amazing.
Oh, it's so good. There's so I'm trying to so one cool thing with all these car chases is there's no gadgets in this one. Like it's not in Q sector vehicles at all. It's just straight driving. And the landscape that they're driving through, too, is not only beautiful, but super tricky because it's all slushed and there's like 6 feet of snow on either side of the road, too. It's just what they've cleared out. They do try shooting, right?
Yeah.
So just I would say it's a pretty average car ride, but it's not Bond driving. And
it's Tracy.
Yeah, it's Tracy driving the whole time, and he's just like kissing her every time she like saves his life. He's like, "Mwah."
Yeah, which I love.
Good turn. Mwah. And she kills it driving too.
Yeah.
I forget they crash into. Oh my god! I forgot this entire scene.
Yeah. Oh, so before we get to the car chase, there's a bit where she almost gets in a car accident. Well, he's like, "How'd you find me?" He's like, "Oh, I've been taking up interest in winter sportsman."
Yeah.
And,
one.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, really?" And he's like, "Well, one winter sportsman." She looks at him. He's like, "Oh, that's supposed to be my thing."
Yeah. I am a winter sportsman.
He's like, "I'm supposed to be the pervert." Actually. So, then they almost get in a car accident because Tracy's so in love with them. But then the real car chase happens. They end up driving into a car race.
Yes, of like little Fiats that are all racing, and it becomes a demolition derby real quick.
Yeah, and Tracy fucking dominates and actually ends up helping Bond flip the villain's cars over until it explodes. The car chase is incredible.
It's probably one of my favorite car chases.
It's I think the best car chase in the series so far.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say this one. Yeah, So far, this definitely is.
This is the only car chase that isn't rear projected.
Oh my god, he's right. Look at that. Ooh.
So it's like there's actually cars in this scene, Nick.
I know. It's so good.
The only one I can think of that isn't is like what fucking the car chase in Goldfinger with the injector seat.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. No, this is because that sucked. When it's
it didn't suck. It
sucks
in retrospect.
In the factory scene where he's like looking in the mirror and he's like, "Oh, somebody's gonna hit me," then he slams into the wall. That one, there.
Maybe.
In Goldfinger, he gets captured, then he gets the car back, ejector seats the dude, and then he's like driving around their little campus.
Yeah.
And he's going down but
that's what when the granny starts shooting at him.
Yes, yeah, granny shooting. And that one's so stupid. And then the way it ends is there's a mirror at the end of the alleyway, and he thinks it's an oncoming car and crashes. And Oddjob just like looks at the mirror and laughs, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Was that a trap, or did Bond just like see a reflection and like whatever? This is so much better.
Well, yeah. Well, I was just comparing that. That's what we're comparing it to.
This is fun. I'm trying to think of. Because obviously I haven't seen anything, but I've seen the Craig ones, and there are some Craig chases that I like, but this is just so good.
Yeah,
I think this is way better than all the Sean Connery ones.
Yeah, and then after that, they end up pulling up into a barn.
Well, first she wins the race, and she drops a sick one-liner. She's like, "Oh, we don't even have time to pick up the trophy."
Yeah,
it's like, oh, it's like she's owning this movie.
Yeah. And she and Bond get into a storm, and they can't see in front of them, so they pull into a barn.
They can almost see in front of them. Bond gets out and wipes the snow off, and it does literally nothing.
Yeah, and he notices the barn, and they go into the barn, and they begin talking in the barn, and something happens in the barn.
He pops a question.
Yeah, he's just like, "I love you so much," and like,
"Thank you for saving me."
Yeah, and he was just like, this never has happened to me before, even though it happened in Thunderball. But I love you, Tracy. I can't. I mean, like, this job is for one man. I can't have anything distractions. And she just starts to get sad. And he's just like, "But I don't want to lose you." And then he like pauses and like, "Would you marry me?"
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Are you serious?" And he's like, "Yeah." And she...
Yeah. And then they sleep separate for a minute.
But then he's just like... And then they start making out, and he's like, well, this is a thing for our wedding night. So, that's my New Year's resolution. He puts her on a different bed, and he lays down. And then after like 15 seconds, you realize what he just said. He grabs like a thing, he knocks that bed down, she rolls over onto him.
It's not New Year's yet.
Yeah, and then they fuck.
Yeah.
Blofeld the next day finds...
the barn with the storm is now passed.
Yeah.
They find I wonder how they probably just
tracks.
Yeah, either that or there's nothing else around.
Yeah.
And they find the car. They jump through.
They found out that Bond and her aren't there. They've been skiing.
Yeah.
And so they start skiing after them. It's a great ski scene, not as good as the first one.
So comparing the repetitiveness of skiing to the repetitiveness of underwater in
Thunderball,
the skiing is so much better.
Yeah,
It's like way better paced because
Yeah.
directing.
Thunderball is a really well directed film.
Yeah, but I mean the
pacing
of everything underwater is pretty doo-doo compared to this.
Yeah.
Because this, there was a point where I was like,
well, yeah,
wow,
they
skiing
have the
a lot.
blueprint of what to do.
Yeah. It's because it's, whatever.
That's like me being like, well, yeah, like that'd be like you being like me being like, oh yeah, well the pacing in my remake of Behind the Door is better than the original. Like, yeah, no shit, I had a fucking blueprint.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's completely different. It's just like repetitive action in a different setting.
Yeah.
But it's paced better, and there's two better moments. There's the kills in the first one, and then in the second one, when they're almost caught up, and he's like, oh look, they're down there. He goes, I know what I can do.
Avalanche.
He shoots a flare right at the mountain and causes this big old...
And it knocks Bond and Tracy out, and they take Tracy away. Well, I don't know why they didn't take Bond, but they didn't take Bond.
Maybe he didn't see them.
Yeah, they take Tracy, and Blofeld's like, I want to mac on that. But before we get to that...
yeah.
Before we get to
You're
that...
going to be mine.
We have a great moment where we cut to Bond staring out a window in M's office, and on the window pane around Bond is just Tracy being taken away because it's on his mind.
Yeah.
And then like once like M like
the
rings
phone rings or something.
Yeah, M rings, the phone rings for M, and then Bond immediately snaps back to reality, and the fade goes away.
Yeah, it's a wonderful transition. Yeah,
beautiful.
It's so good. My only complaint with it is that they show a scene of her getting dragged away. They show Bond like waking up, like spinning around, and then it cuts to Bond in the office with the prior scene on screen again. And I hate that stuff. I don't want to see the same thing twice in one movie.
But it's recontextualizing it because you're not paying attention to that. You're paying attention to Bond's reaction.
I wish they didn't have her getting dragged away in the snow. I wish they just had it in the transition.
Or you just had the scene with Bond waking up longer, where he's like looking around like, Tracy.
Yeah, maybe him getting back or something.
No, just have him looking around for Tracy for a couple more seconds.
That could be it. Yeah, but instead we get another good M scene though.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3.
Yeah, Whew. M is like, dude.
Number 4.
He's like, we're gonna give away like the money to Blofeld.
Yes, we're gonna do his demands.
And Bond's like, we can just go blow him up though.
Yeah, he goes, dude, we know where he is. Just blow it up.
And M's like, they say it's too risky. He's like, what about
the girls?
And then he's like, what about Tracy? And he's just like, her affairs aren't our affairs. And he's just like,
she saved me?
He's like, I'm in love, dude. Yeah. And
actually, that's my girlfriend.
Yeah. And then M's just like, Bond, fuck off.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah. He's like, I could literally care less.
Because that's Blofeld's girlfriend now.
Yeah. And then Bond immediately calls up Draco and is like, yo, let's go blow up some fucking people.
Yeah, he goes, let's go save your daughter.
And they immediately get in a helicopter.
Now.
Yeah, Apocalypse Now shit. And it's great because they start fucking with Blofeld's people. They're like, you're unauthorized. He's like, we're from Red Cross. It's a humanitarian thing. Leave us alone. Blofeld's like, dude, leave him alone.
Yeah. He goes, just let them go.
Because Blofeld has a weakness, and that's being horny.
Yes. And Tracy make him horny.
Yeah. He's trying to seduce Tracy, and then Tracy's like not having it. They do this really good blocking thing where
he
Tracy's
unzips his onesie.
Tracy's sitting on a couch. Blofeld comes over to the couch. He gets up, goes over to a chair.
Yep.
It's really good. And she's all not having it until she hears her father's voice on the radio, and he's just like, actually, I'm actually more interested now. And then Blofeld's like, yeah, fuck the Red Cross people. Like, let them pass.
Yeah. Let's go to the Alpine Room.
And they don't even let him pass until they're like, we have the press. And like, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Go ahead. And then the helicopters pull up, start shooting guns, and we have an incredible action scene.
Yeah. It's real good. It's another giant force versus giant force.
Yeah, this one takes the you only live twice formula and blows it out of the fucking water.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah. It erupts the volcano.
Yes. My volcano.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts, and
And I
during
think
the whole thing, there's a great Tracy fight scene too.
yeah, she fights off a henchman to show that she's
She
also
fights off
bad
two
at-
henchmen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she knocks a. I think she throws a
She-
bottle.
she
and
breaks
he runs away.
She breaks a bottle over his head, so he might have got glass in his head or something. And then she like starts like throwing the glass, like putting it toward the guy's throat. But then the guy grabs her, puts her. She doesn't like let go. She until he puts her like hand on like this like
it's
spike.
It's like quartz crystal.
Yeah,
and he's like shoving her hand because you can see blood on it too a little bit in one of the scenes.
Yeah,
and it looks so, dude. The scene where she breaks the bottle off the dude's head and is holding it by the neck, so it's like a little knife, and she's like stabbing
Get out
him
of
around.
here.
Yeah, and he has her pinned, and then she scratches his face, and she gets loose, and then they wrestle a little bit, and then we get more henchmen, and I loved this because it's not the National Guard versus the bad guys. It's
the Mafia versus
it's Mafia versus Spectre.
Yeah, and we have a great bit where while Tracy's fight, Bond does this cool thing when he first comes and he's sliding on the ice on his stomach, just with a machine gun, just blowing everyone's knees out.
Curling, yeah. I would have loved if there was somebody who was pushing a little broom in front of him.
Yeah,
A little callback to the curling they did on that ice earlier in the movie.
yeah, and then Tracy knocks one guy out, and then she, I think, pushes another guy into the art.
Yes, there's this really. I was going to mention it to Mark earlier. There's this really weird. It almost looks like a spike strip, just on the wall. That's art. I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting art. And she slams him into it, and he dies from it. I was like, oh, that's why that was there.
Yeah.
And then reunited.
The shootout between the two is amazing. There's a guy. There's one point where in like a hallway of ice, the guy fucking shoots a flamethrower on this dude.
Yeah, out of nowhere. It was so cool.
Yeah. And then they go into the basement, and Bond is like shooting people, like mad. And then but the dad's like, "Get Tracy to this fucking helicopter." She's like, "No." And then he's like, "No, get to the fucking helicopter right the fuck now."
Yeah.
Guns make me nervous. As he holds a machine gun.
Yeah.
And then Bond finds the map of the girl and he starts taking pictures.
Yep. He goes into the clinic's like basement laboratory where Blofeld has his little office, and hidden behind a bookcase there's a map of where all the sleeper agents are. And
the Angels of Death.
Yeah, he's taking pictures of the map, and then pow pow pow, the Blofeld's behind him with a machine gun shooting up the map.
And Bond immediately starts shooting at him. They start chasing each other.
Yeah, it's such a good chase scene.
They're like, Draco's like, let's blow this place up, and they're like, what about Bond? And then he punches his daughter out cold.
Yeah, he says Bond knows the timeline or something like that. I was like, ooh, I was like, I love this. Yeah, but we can do another justified hit check. I'm gonna go with a no. Yeah. He just punches his daughter in the head to knock her out, to throw her on the helicopter.
And that's gonna be a no for me, Chief.
Yeah, that's a no go.
We then have our final action sequence of the film, which is a bobsled.
Yes, I didn't like this. I'll say that. Like,
You didn't?
no, it like took me out of it.
I loved it.
I thought it was almost too funny for me. I was like, oh man, this is like pulling me out, because it just looked kind of ridiculous, but it was fun. Like, I still liked it.
I loved it.
Out of everything else in this movie, I was like, oh, this is kind of taking me out.
Because I liked when Blofeld like grabbed Bond and put his head against the thing.
Yeah, that was sick with the helmet. And I don't know if you noticed too, there's like gaps for, I'm guessing, a staircase to get out if you crash or something. And like, if he had got his head in that, it would have broke his neck instantly instead of just like grinding it down on the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, that would have been sick.
Yeah, and I like that when Blofeld almost blows himself up, and then he throws it just in the nick of time and blows Bond out. And then he just jumps onto the back, and you see him like holding on to this thing while he's like holding on for dear life at this point.
Oh yeah, and that's like, the grenade thing, I guess, kind of took me out of it. And then when he gets hit with the tree branch, I was like, oh, I guess that's a creative way to get him off of it. Does it? Spoiler alert. Does he come back?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it would have been better if he like fell out or something, rather than, I don't know. I feel like it's almost too comical to have him He put his head up too high and got clipped by a tree.
Bond kicked him up.
Oh, yeah.
He kicks him up,
That's
and
true.
then he falls into it.
Yeah.
And then Bond crashes off, and the dog starts playing with him, and it's nice.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Go get the brandy."
Yep. And then
It's a cute dog.
Cut to wedding.
Does it?
I don't know. I think the next scene might be the wedding. After now everybody's happy together.
No, he goes back to London to go buy a ring, and then we go to the wedding.
Oh, yes. And I forget why there was a montage with this ring earlier.
Because it was when him and Tracy were falling in love.
Oh,
and she pointed at
okay.
it, and he bought her that ring.
Oh, nerd.
Mm-hmm.
Remembering stuff like that.
This scene, the wedding scene, is fucking incredible.
Yeah, it shows the ring, cuts to her wearing the ring, and then she's crying, and he does the same eye wipe thing that he did at the bullfight.
And
It's
we have
really
a
good.
scene with Draco and M are talking business.
Yeah, they're talking different points of the ones. It's bad guys and good guys talking about how each one does their job against each other.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful.
And the highlight of this scene, well, one of the first, before we get to the highlight of the scene, we also have
The henchman.
Q, who is like,
Mhm.
007, James, like, I know we haven't always seen, well, if there's anything you need from me, and he's just I'm always there for you, and then he's just like, Q, I think this time I have the gadgets and I know how to use them.
Yeah.
And then they're about to leave the wedding, and we have, in my opinion, one of the greatest scene
With Moneypenny.
of Moneypenny in the entire series. Moneypenny, James is about to get in the car, drive off being married, and Moneypenny looks at him. She's got tears streaming down her face.
Yeah.
He waves and smiles, and he looks down, looks back up.
He odd jobs there.
He tosses her the hat, and she catches it, and then he waves goodbye one last time and gets in the car.
Yeah.
And then we have Q being like, "Oh, 007 never had respect for government property."
Yeah, which got me after. It's a nice little undercut for an emotional scene.
Mm-hmm. And then
They drive off.
They drive off, and the credits roll.
Happily ever after. Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's the final James Bond film, everybody.
Yeah. What an ending.
I wish. No, what happens is they end up pulling off because Bond didn't buy her flowers, so they start talking, and it's actually really cute.
So he's taking the flowers off of the car.
Yeah, and they're talking about how many kids they're going to have and how much they love each other, and how Tracy's like, I finally have, like, something I want to live for, yada, yada, yada.
Bop, bop, bop.
And then Blofeld comes up, shoots, Irma Bunton shoots, and then...
Yeah.
Bond,
they do a
it's
drive
Blofeld.
by.
It's Blofeld. He gets in the car and he looks over at Tracy and she's got a bullet in her head.
Yeah,
she's
she
dead.
Did.
And a cop comes up and he's like, "It's all right. We're gonna, we have all the time in the world." And Bond is just like in denial.
Yeah,
he's in shock. And
she's
that's
just resting.
How we end the film. And I think it's a beautiful movie.
Yeah,
I think
it's so good.
Without a doubt, the best Bond film.
Oh yeah, this is my new top one.
Yeah,
yeah. This beats Dr. No for me.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this is the last film George Lazenby would be in because George Lazenby's agent saw that Hollywood was changing at this point. Easy Rider was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Midnight Cowboy. People like Jack Nicholson and Dustin Hoffman were like the future, and they saw Bond as an old time act.
Yep.
And in some respects, he's right. Because
I could totally see, like, if everything hippies taking the cake, I don't think a Secret Service member is going to be the idol for everybody as he was in post-war.
It's not even that. I think he was just like, how much longer can the James Bond character also innovate in a world like this? And he's right because he never does again.
Yeah.
Bond never... This is the final Bond that pushes the boundaries of what an action film can be. Because the next one just tries to be Goldfinger. And then after that, they're like, well...
Star Wars.
Yeah, well, then they're just like, well, Shaft's really popular. Let's do that. And then they're like, oh, well, Enter the Dragon was really popular. Let's do that. Oh, well, Star Wars is popular. Let's just do that. Indiana Jones is popular. Let's do that. And they never innovate again. Or like Die Hard is big. Let's do that.
Yeah.
And they never do it again until GoldenEye. And then after that, but right after GoldenEye came out, Mission Impossible came out. So like, well, now we have to do that.
Yeah. Like, oh, new spy in town?
Yeah, and then they don't do it ever again because after that, Casino Royale is just doing the Bourne movies.
Yeah. Oh, that's Casino Royale and Bourne are
the same thing.
Yeah.
And then
even almost all the Craig ones are.
I was gonna say this, like the Skyfall Spectre thing is the Nolan world.
Yeah,
they're just trying to cash in on because
the dark.
Yeah, because when Quantum of Solace came out, Dark Knight came out, and that blew it away.
Yeah,
so like, I want one of those.
Gimme, I love Skyfall.
Yeah, I do. I love the Dark Knight,
and we can talk about. I said Skyfall.
Yeah, that's what I said.
The first thing we rate is Bond, which this was wonderful.
5.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed that it's only one movie with him.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would have really grown into the character. But yeah.
And I think this is also, if Connery would have done this also would have been the one that would have kept him on for like at least 3 more.
Yeah. Yeah, this definitely would have been a key turning point in the series. Especially if they did the ending as the start of a second movie.
Mm-hmm.
Bond Girl.
Yeah.
5.
5, yeah.
Yeah.
This is so now instead of it being the bottom is Kisisuki and the top is Domino, like that's our scale.
Yeah.
It's Kisisuki is the bottom and
Tracy is
So
Tracy's so
the
good.
2 wives.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny.
But now that we're at the end of the movie, let's do the comparison.
Yeah.
Before we do anything else, before we keep talking about more things.
What?
Connery versus Lazenby. Is Connery the best Bond? Or do you think Lazenby's the better Bond?
I would say I like Sean more, and I think it's just because there's more of him. Like, I think if there was more of George, then
you think he would have surpassed him?
He would easily have, I think. But I just like Sean just kills it over and over again.
I think that Connery has a advantage, and I think that Connery is more handsome.
Yeah, I do think Connery's more handsome.
And I think that also Connery can be more of a psychopath.
Side. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
But I think that Lazenby could also grow into being that.
Yeah, I think, or at least get almost to where, like, I don't think he could have got the brutal stuff. Like, the brutalist stuff in this, like, I was still like, oh, you're not really that brutal.
Yeah.
And where in Connery, I was like, oh, you're... Okay.
Yeah, I don't think anything.
Train fight.
I don't. Yeah, the train. I was gonna say like I don't think anyone has ever gotten as brutal as Connery and Dr. No.
Yeah.
When he shoots a guy in cold
design, blood. But yeah.
But I think Connery could have done what Lazenby did, and I think that these are the two that are most closely associated. Because I think like they designed Lazenby to just be Connery version 2 because it's his first acting job, and a lot of people give Lazenby a lot of shit and say he was bad in this movie. I don't see what you're talking about. I think he's a fantastic actor in this movie.
I think he did a great job.
Yeah, especially since he never acted before in his life.
Yeah.
And for being 29 years old, being like the youngest Bond.
I think he actually looks older than 29 personally.
He aged like shit, yeah.
Oh, damn.
By the time he's like 35, he looks like garbage.
He looked pretty good in this, but I think Sean just has a more like handsome, like spy look to him.
Yeah. I think that the two are incredible, and I think that in time, I think Lazenby could have been the second greatest Bond.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would have probably been better than Brosnan, but because Brosnan had GoldenEye and 2 other really good ones, I think that is not true now.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm gonna stick with Connery being better than George.
Yeah, I think I am too.
But right now our rankings for Bond,
I still
by
think
default.
I think he's a 5 still.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, but by default our ranking of Bond is Sean Connery, George Lazenby.
Yeah, and that's like, I think George in this was better than Sean at his worst, but Sean overall was better.
Yeah. I feel like this, I think George at his best, which is this, is better than Connery in You Only Live Twice.
Yeah.
But I don't think that this is better than Connery in Thunderball.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, it kind of gets hard. Yeah. But that's why we vote on Bond for every movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then I skipped intro, which I didn't really like the visuals of the intro, but the song was a bop.
Yeah.
That was good.
Oh, I thought the intro was both. Do you do the pre-title sequence that's on the movie rank?
Yes. Yeah.
Pre-titles, 4.5.
Yeah, I'm trying to... Yeah.
Took a little while to get into the thing, but
yeah.
whatever.
Definitely better than You Only Live Twice.
Oh, are you trying to say this movie's an improvement?
I am. Yeah, I'd probably go 4.
Yeah, I'll go 4.5 just because I love the visual with the cigarette and like, the
Yeah.
cleft chin.
I think and I know like the beach fight was great. The beach fight was better. I would have liked it a little more. But I love the not mission.
Yeah.
Like intros. It's so good.
I also love like the him getting in the boat and throwing the anchor at him and stuff.
Yeah.
Like the build up to the fight. I also like his James Bond.
Yep.
Moment.
Yeah, he is a good one.
Yeah. What's next? If it's villain in 5.
I think it's villain. Felix. So we'll do the other guy, which like 3.
I actually liked. He didn't do much, but I liked his presence.
Yeah,
I thought what he was, because he's also like the most helpful ally he's ever had.
Yeah, when he first starts helping him, like, who is this guy? And then he shows up again. I was like, oh, that guy's back. I was like, cool. But yeah, I don't know his name, but
3 stars though.
Yeah, perfect middle of the road.
Henchmen 4.
Stop trying to jump around. Next one's MI6.
MI6 5.
Yeah, this is great. The Moneypenny scenes are incredible. There's literally 5 scenes with MI6 people in it.
Mm-hmm.
The M stuff at the beginning when he wants to resign and he's being cold about it is so good.
Yeah, like we said, this has the 3 best Moneypenny scenes in the entire series.
The Office is so good. I'm so glad that they showed Bond's office.
Yeah.
And then even the this wasn't my favorite Q scene, but it was good. I think Q definitely is cooler with gadgets, but this was a really
this is a movie that could not have gadgets.
Exactly, and it's heartfelt at the end, so it's still really good. Now villain
5.
Yeah, he's so much better as Blofeld.
This is the best Blofeld. This is the best villain we've had.
Yeah,
this is the gold standard.
Oh, really?
I think.
I think he was better than Goldfinger.
For now, I think this is the gold standard.
Yeah, I'm excited.
On a scale of this and to fucking Dr. No.
Dr. No.
He's our worst villain.
Yeah, stupid metal hand guy.
Yeah.
The next one is Henchmen, which I think we could include the sleeper agents in.
Oh, then 4.5.
Yeah, because what's her name? Hart? What was Hart?
Burnt.
Bunt. She was really great.
Yeah. She was a 4 on her own.
Yeah. And then having 12 sleeper agent smoke shows is incredible.
Actually, I want to redo one of our rankings.
Which one?
Our Felix. Because Draco is technically our Felix.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Like, they're both our Felix. Like, he's our Quarrel, and then Draco's our Felix.
Oh, you're so right. Damn.
Draco is a 4.5.
Yeah.
Draco's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, exactly. He's so good. Oh, you're so right. That was a good save. Because I didn't even notice that he wouldn't have shown up at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're totally right.
Yeah, Gadgets. Is it Gadgets next, or what is it next?
Stories next.
Stories next? 5.
Yeah, great story. This is grounded in reality, believable. It's all good.
It's emotional.
Yeah. It's got all of its
complete
complete
arcs.
Story. Yeah. There's character arcs.
It has
cinematography.
It's the
arcs.
first. It's the first Bond. It's I mean, act like it's like a long time, but it's the first Bond we've had with an arc since Thunderball.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Cinematography, which
5.
Yeah, 5. This is so good.
Yeah, this is a beautiful looking movie.
And not only that, but there was creative stuff in it too. I was like, oh, and they learned from the things I hate. They knew that the times were coming where Day for Night was barely passable and rear projected and was starting to look silly.
Yeah.
And some of the transitions are just so good. And then gadgets, there are none in this.
There's one.
Oh, yeah, which is a pretty cool one. I do think the printer part is still a little silly. We can count the camera, too, because it's a little like slide camera. So they're pretty good, like 2 or 3.
Yeah, I'll say 3.
Yeah, because I think the safecracker is way cooler than the one they used last time where it was like a stethoscope with a little computer in the middle.
Oh, that was a great scene in Your Only Live Twice's defense.
Yeah, it was a great scene, but that gadget, I was like, why do you have that? And this looks dumb.
Yeah.
This one, it's pretty cool. And then lastly, vehicles, which this was nice.
Mm-hmm.
We had, I forget what she drove a Jag, which looked awesome. It was like this red Jag with, for some reason, an F sticker on the back. But I was like, oh, whatever. Looks cool.
I'm going to say a 4 for this film.
Yeah, it's one of, no, yeah, you're right. Probably 4. I hate saying I wish it had gadgets because that should be in gadgets. But man, the DB5 is so cool. But I liked seeing not a like bare metal car. Like,
yeah.
I don't even know what color this was because it looked different every time I saw it. But
yeah.
I did like the Bond car in this too.
Yeah.
Oh, it had the sniper in it.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
5 stars.
5 stars. Undeniably, this movie's a 5-star movie.
Yeah, and this is. I don't even have to say check the list. This is definitely my number 1.
This is the definitive Bond film right now.
Yeah,
and at this point, it's both me and Nick's favorites, and I think it will continue to be,
which is
for
pretty
a very
funny
long time
because we were so different up until now.
Yeah,
you're like, wait, where did you just put You Only Live Twice?
No, I
not You Only Live
Thunderball.
Twice. Thunderball, yeah.
You still think that Goldfinger's better than Thunderball?
I still think Goldfinger's better.
You're crazy.
But we can agree that this is the numero uno.
Yeah. And any last thoughts?
No, I am excited for the next one, though. Because I get to start hating stuff now. Yeah. Now we go down.
Yep. So we're going to have our revenge arc in a comedy.
Woo!
And Peter Hunt would not return to direct a Bond and never be involved ever again. And instead, we got Goldfinger director Guy Hamilton to return for the next 3 films. And you all know how much I love Guy Hamilton.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited.
And that's going to wrap up this episode of Bonding with Bond.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. And make sure to watch this film if you can. And follow us on Letterboxd to keep up with our rankings of the films.
Mm-hmm. They'll be in the description.
Mm-hmm. And subscribe to the Now's Media film channel. Watch all of our movies and listen to our other podcasts and watch 296 if you like old Nintendo games. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, have a good one, everybody.
Bye.